Back. I am back. It's not often that I have the time alone to myself and the stillness. The time alone to myself to move to the beat of my own drum. So since I'm sitting here with the beat of my own drum, I'm going to take advantage. And I'm going to eat my okra too. So if you're rocking with me, rock with me. So vlog number 2. I came earlier, and this is a live video. I would prefer if nobody came in live and just caught the recording. But just to ensure that the footage actually makes it up on YouTube and I don't give myself any reason to delay it, I'm going to do this live. Because I got time today. I got time tonight. And I'm giving myself so much room, so much space, and so much grace with this video. And with these videos, especially the ones like this where I would just leave them title is live with the number, just treating it like a vlog. Whereas in the past, there's been so much stalling because there would be a thing of wanting to hurry up and share. But no, it's my channel. it's my channel is what I've come to. And I think right now, especially the space that I'm in, I feel like this is for me more than anything. Like I feel like I gotta do this. I got to. Part of me is like, I mean, so many different aspects to it, but I know right now it's just like from where I'm at right now, it's like I have to document. So it's like it's for me, and it's for who and what I do it for, and that's encompassing so much. That's encompassing so much. And a spark today is my grandmother. And I'm just like, man, I gotta open my mouth and speak up in honor of my grandmother. Because I just recognize what is in me and what I stand on and what I stand for is of her. And I had an older cousin tell me one time that I'm Annie Mae's spirit animal. And I'm like, man, I can totally see that. And I went into later into life, like recent years, that I realized that me and my grandmother are both Aquarius. This is a woman who had 12 children and who has an unknown amount of grandchildren, never tried to count, and great grandchildren. And I see my grandmother, I spoke about this in the first one earlier, just about the condition that she's in now. But while there isn't much output from her, her presence, when I look into her eyes, is still so strong. She's still very much so here. And I don't know. I feel like it's something she's waiting on. And I feel like that's her honor. Her honor, her flowers. And I'm gonna be the one. I'm gonna give them to her. And there's so many ways, I have to acknowledge that there are so many ways that one could be giving her flowers. Shout out to her daughter. Shout out to my mom, who has taken care of her for numerous years. Shout out to my auntie and my cousin now, who is housing and caring for her. And just, yes, Just shout out to them. Um, what I want to do right now in the space that I'm in, it's so one part of it is I want to tell her story. I want to tell her story. I want to call on her name. And I want to be all that I am and all that I've been called to be and speak everything that is in me. Because I feel like essentially that's honoring her legacy through my life, through the life that I live, through the words that I speak, through the spirit that through the spirit, through the spirit. And yes. So with these vlogs, this like my background. It's like it's like the back set. The back set. Is that right? Just like the back set. And then I know there'll be things where there are like titles, where it's right and exact. But these vlogs, these live videos, it's the inner workings. It's the inner workings. It's the sparks. It's the spark. It's the revelation. Ooh, just call it the revelations. Welcome to the revelations. It's money. Ooh, come. Ooh, all right. Excuse me. That really reminds me of like pastor energy. I don't know. And I love it though. I shared earlier in the revelations number one. It's still just gonna say his money is loud, but the revelations number one that my grandmother Annie Mae Harris is was had always been a very, very holy and sanctified woman. This is a woman that, as a young girl, me knowing her as grandma, I knowing she already had 12 children, seeing her take care of us, seeing her going with her to senior citizen homes, reading to the elderly, going with her to senior citizen fitness classes, going with her to church, witnessing her have all these phone numbers written on the walls in the kitchen by the house telephone and making it a thing to reach out to others and make calls and pray for people and visit the people in the jails. Here I am with 4 children. How did this woman have the capacity? How did she do that? How how does she do that? The capacity to serve at the magnitude that she serves. I am blown away. I remember when my grandmother's years ago, when my grandmother was still speaking and just very much so herself and just reflective. I'm about to choke. I have the okra down my throat. And reflective, she would say, when she would reflect on having had 12 children and raised 12 children, she would be like, she was like, wow, that was impressive. And all the glory was to God. Always. Always and forever. All the glory was to God. But she was just like, I should be famous. And you know what? I was sitting in that van today, like, yes, come on. I gotta say her name. I gotta speak on her. I got to. Annie Mae Harris. That woman, that being has, when I was speaking to her earlier today, again, you can watch video one for reference. Um, Revelation number 1. And I was speaking to her earlier today, and I was speaking over her and just speaking to her. I was just like, faithful servant you are. Like, just thinking of like biblically, just like how as children of the Most High, um, especially just remembering in Christianity, there's this thing of wanting to live a life of service. And I feel like for me and in my life, though I don't conform to Christianity as a practice, that fundamental of doing my father's work, doing my mother, doing the Most High's work is just very much so with me. Like when I just how much I care to be on assignment and in alignment with my purpose, my call, my charge is very much so with me. And at the end of the day, what it boils down to is just a great desire to serve and to be of service to my neighbors, to my neighbor, to my community. And that is what I have. What is that? Okay. I don't get too distracted. And that's what I have sought out to do these last few years, even if it's just been in a capacity of uplifting messages or writings on Facebook or Instagram, or having posting certain pictures for just to spark something very at the core of us and essential to us. It's just like that's, and also just with creating spaces, just like I really seeked, 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 SEEKED. It don't sound like it's coming out right. To just create and hold certain spaces for certain dialogue, for for support, for so many reasons. And I have that's not it's not something that I have done, that I've yet done at the capacity that I want to do and that I intend to do, being having been a divorced mother for, and just even a mother for a period, even when I was still married. It's just like I barely had time for myself, but there's still been this pull for me to want to and be so ready to do so much more for the collective at large. And again, from Revelation video number 1, with what I said, I feel like this year's calling of me is to come back into myself. That's not the right language. Come back with myself for a moment. I'm just gonna say it like that for right now. And position myself to where I can serve and produce from a space of overflow, and not from a space where I'm in a space where I don't even have what I need, but yet I'm so amped to try to do something for others. It's like I cannot do it at the capacity that I want to do it until I secure myself, my home, and my family the way that it needs to be. And then from that space of just having us planted here, can I turn back to a space to where I am serving outwardly? So that's why I spoke in the first video of just being in this space of practicing or meditation earlier, where I was speaking to, you know, a gate opening, you know, and just overflowing. Like, I fill in my cup this year, but in the most practical way. And pretty much just creating lucrative income for ourselves, for myself, for ourselves. Lucrative income so that I can turn back to those things that I just feel like that make me feel so wealthy. As is, I feel an abundance of wealth and joy just in those arenas or whatever, but the capacity is not there. So that's where I am this year. And just being at this space, like I said, I'm following blog Revelation 1. So if you do so happen to be watching number 2, it would make more sense if you saw 1. But that's on you. So just going back to what I experienced in January with my grandmother's 91st return, and just the return to myself that I feel was initiated and sparked, where now I'm feeling like the spaces that I have seeked, I gotta get this language right because I can write it, but speaking English, the spaces that I've seen, and so crazy because if you have followed me on anything in the past, like, you know, I'm a great writer, but speaking this language, I'd be like, what? It just be so country. So I have to really take my time. So yes, just that space. I feel like the spaces that I have sought out, seeked to create, for my village and a community. Just in this time that I am this much more with myself, I'm feeling called to do that work and hold those spaces for my bloodline. So that's what I said earlier in the first video. It's like I wish I could remember how it came to me earlier, but just something along the lines of going through doors, going through another door right now, to where I just know with the way, in honoring my grandmother, just with me even feeling called to do that, I see that as me honoring her, and honoring her, because I know, like I said, I know what's in me is of her. Like the faith that I got, the man, the way that I praise, man, the way that I give thanks, it's of her. It's all, it's that's where I get it from. This abundance that I feel in my womb. Her having 12, I don't have to have 12, but I could feel the abundance. I can feel the fertile ground in my womb. And I know everything, like I said, that I have sought out to do within the community this year. I'm going to do that with my bloodline. And that's what I'm going to be. That's what I want to document, in a sense. And not like thoroughly document, but it's just like when I was sitting over there on my grandma's birthday back in January, I just felt, like I said, the beauty and the fact that when you think about your family, can't nobody do your family Like, y'all do y'all. Like, it's only y'all. And I was just thinking, I'm just thinking of something came to me earlier where I was like, represent, represent. And I don't want to go too far in just this one video. But if anything, like I said, these reflections are for me so that I see my path paved that much more clearer, as to the steps that are being ordered for me. So I'm gonna give myself permission to go that far. Turn up this okra. I'm gonna give myself permission to go that far. I feel like I have a headache. I'm promising from drinking purified water today. The worst water ever. And then I did hit a pen today. Y'all probably noticed earlier that went all tears. And my first time getting lifted in a while. And I hit the pen too hard or something. I didn't know what to expect. That junk shot me up there. And yeah. But okay. So back to what I am saying, that I want to do that. I'm going to do that for my family this year, for my bloodline. The same way that I would carry out a sister circle. I gotta get my cousins together. And I get the female cousins together. And then from there, get the masculine and feminine. Get the masculine cousins together with the feminine cousins. And there's so much to be reflected upon. There's so much healing and there's so much learning that even just regarding just like communication. I realized in July, I'm just like, oh, and that's on all of our parts, just communication. And I recognize that when it comes to things like this, just say even the spaces that I pull together within community, it can always, it can come off as something that you're doing for others, but it's something that you're doing for yourself. It's something that you are doing for yourself, especially when you understand that there's only one self. And that's where if you picked up what I was putting down in the first videos, it just had me so tickled. It's only one self, but it's just, it really takes a courage. It really takes courage to face all of these versions of yourself. And with like each interface, there's so much within yourself that's reflected to you that you're aware of, just being a self-aware being that now you have to navigate. So it's just like I'm going to put myself up against navigating these different parts of myself, because I feel like essentially, we go on these journeys of self-care. It's time to bite the okra. Okay. We go on these journeys of self-care and self-love, not necessarily self-care. Of course, that's a part of it, mainly self-love, where we allow ourselves to become, I don't know what that was, allow ourselves to become selfish in our journeys. But it does not stop there. That is only one door. That is only one door. There are so many doors for us to go through. There are so many doors. And I've been in a space of thinking about different books that I want to produce. Not necessarily write, but produce. And one of them is, I'm not working on it right now, so it's one of the ones that I'm putting further down the road, so I'll speak on it now. And like I said, I'm navigating a headache, so That's what this is. I'm navigating. But there's a book where I want to talk about just how, man, I wonder if I could find it. Just it written down. So I don't have to think too hard with my words. I just need the subject. So, community change through personal transformation. Where I'm basically drawing, I guess, the parallel back to how we unify in community by way of the doorway to self. So I wish I could. So say we're for the village, which is my ministry. Self. Oh God, I ain't chew that up good enough. Say we're for the village. It is about this stuff's supposed to be more readily available, but right now it's not. Um. Okay, so for the village, which is about community that's built upon the true self, because that's what it takes. It's essentially, the village. If you watch other videos on the channel or read anything I've written, or and they make it sound like I didn't read some books I'm talking about on Facebook and Instagram. You know, that's essentially what the village is and how the village operates. Is a a whole lot of it's just self-aware individuals that make up a whole, self-aware selves that make up a whole. And so that it has been the doorway. But I feel like the doorway now that I'm shifting into for this year is that doorway where now all of this work, all of this expansion of consciousness that I have obtained, now I am taking it back to my bloodline. Not just people on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. But now it's that much more personal. It's that much more closer to the dot in the middle of the circle. And just as we know the challenges that could come with just trying to unify within community and as a people, those things are paralleled, reflected. It's the same thing within the family. So I'm tracing my steps backwards, going back to source. I done went out from the mother. I've learned all these things. I've learned myself. I've seen myself. I experienced myself. And now I am returning to returning. I'll just leave it down, returning. And so yeah, that's what I'm gonna set out to do this year. And I want to share more about it. Like I said, these vlogs is just the revelations. And essentially I feel like, I feel like it's not just my truth. I feel like it's a collective truth. And there's so many levels to it. I know I was thinking earlier how there's so many, and it's crazy because I have not said Hashatan in a very long time, which is Hebrew basically for Satan. I have not said that. I have not regarded the devil or devil. I'll speak to adversarial energies and forces, which is the same thing. But the way that I personify my source, I don't personify or haven't personified the adversarial force. And I don't know, part of me kind of feels like, when I think of that saying where they say the greatest trick that the devil pulled was making the world believe that he don't exist. I kind of feel like, I was thinking about it earlier, there's some truth in that. Because I'm like, I can be so heavy on the light and so heavy on the God and the God that I am and the God that is in me, you know. But then it's just like, you know, just within that duality, I won't call a spade for a spade when it comes to the other side of the game. So I was thinking about earlier in my reflections, I was just like, Hashatan. No. God is representatives, you know. God is representatives. And when I think about when I think about the Most High and God in us, I recognize that to be our center, our source, and what is us. And I feel like just going through the doors at this time to truly, at this time, I just feel like at this time, like to represent. I just want to represent. I want to represent my bloodline. I want to rep us. I want to show us the work and the life that my grandmother left, and that spirit in her. Man, I know it's so of God. It's so of God. Me being right here, I think I shared earlier in Revelation 1, just my story of being a miracle child. My grandma always told me, the God that the devil wanted to take you out of you. No, she was telling me that I want to do it. This person. She was telling me you somebody. And you know you something special. Because the devil tried to take you out of here before you was even born. Facts. 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 And yes. And like I said, this right here, and this is for me in this moment. But it's for us. Just everything that I care to do is for us. It's for us because I know in me, I just know in me that there's a multitude of others. I like how I put that. I like that. In me, there's a multitude of others. And I know I used to always wonder, like, when I'm going on YouTube and when I start my videos, like, I realized a long time ago, I have to greet and properly address my quote unquote audience. And today it just dawned on me, just the way that I want to do that is just simply to greet the I in I. And with that comes so much ease. I'm here. He's the on time God. How timely is this? I know it is, and I trust it to be. So, all of that. So, that's number 2. I say I'm not in a space of forcing it. There will always be so much more. But like I said in that first video, this is a time of taking it step by step. One foot in front of the other. So this is just another foot in a whole scheme. Scheme. Do they got negative connotation? Just in a whole marathon. In a whole marathon. So I give thanks. I give thanks. I give thanks.